Hey, bear. See me, bear? There's a road closure just down. There's a trailhead I'm gonna go to, and it's closed right there along the North Fork of the Clearwater. There's a fire burning on this side of Moose Mountain. All right, just made it past Hoodoo Pass. I'm gonna be heading down to the North Fork of the Clearwater River at the bottom of this road here. Pretty hazy, not as bad as it is in Spokane right now, but still pretty smoky. And then there's supposed to be a fire burning about 15-20 miles that direction down the North Fork. And there's a road closure, but nothing else is closed. Nice cool day. It's only 62 degrees. All right, truck already. Nation board. Trailhead. Here I am. I've arrived at the trailhead for the North Fork of the Clearwater River. I'm planning on doing potentially a 3-night, 4-day trip. Could be shorter depending on the conditions of the trail and how I feel and everything, but my goal is to hike from here to 5 Lakes Butte, which is about 10 to 12 miles. There will be like a mile road walk that basically I'm going to hike the North Fork Trail all the way to almost this end, and then follow Vanderbilt Gulch all the way to the end where it's Chamberlain Meadows, and that's where the road is going along. I believe it's Meadow Creek, and then hike to the trailhead for 5 Lakes Butte. And there's, like the name says, there's like 5 lakes underneath this butte, and they're only like a closest one's like a mile and a half in. So hopefully I can make it all the way there tomorrow, but if not, I just don't know if there's going to be a lot of downfall, because it's a heavy downfall here everywhere. And I was driving in off in the woods with tons and tons of downfall. They looked from last year, so might be up against it. I'll find out. But it's about 2 o'clock here, so got at least 6 hours of daylight probably. So I'm gonna use all of it.
I have backpacked at 5 Lakes Butte before. The goal of this hike was to see if it was possible to hike there, because the road to get there in both directions is a horrible, slow, bumpy 4-wheel drive road right across the bridge here. I think this is 720 that turns into 715. And then from the other way you can drive 715 from like the St. Joe River or Cascade Pass. So my goal is to see if you could actually just hike there and not have to drive.
Well, appears there's been a lot of clearing of logs here. I don't know for sure, but I'm gonna guess the outfitter here that's just down the road kind of claims this area as their turf. I bet you they cleared all these logs just to their camp, and I bet you past the camp it's gonna be a jungle. But we'll find out. Maybe they cut farther, maybe it was Forest Service. I have no idea, but I'm guessing it was the outfitter. But there's a ton of cut logs from this year. You can tell they're cut this year. So it's not very hot out, but I started the hike at close to 2:30, 3 o'clock. So it's the heat of the day. It's supposed to be in the 70s today. I'm guessing low 70s, but right off the bat, I felt really exposed and hot, and luckily there's a little side creek coming in, and so I put my my neck cooling rag around my neck, got that all wet, wetted my hat, and put a handkerchief on top of my head with so the water, it takes longer for the hat to dry. And man, what a world of difference that makes. Like I feel energized, and I feel, I don't know, way more comfortable. So happy about that. Here's a real side creek instead of the little one. Awesome. Well, this trail has been pretty much the same thing. I haven't been filming much because a lot of time you're just up high above it, up above the river. Can't see it all the time, and you're kind of going through this tunnel, just cruising by side creeks, in and out. But yeah, it's a nice trail. It's all cleared, and it's a cruiser, just like most river trails like this. So I'm enjoying it so far. Trail down. Oh, there's a camp spot right there. Nice. Way above the river right now. I think we're going over a little point here, and then dropping down the other side of it. Hopefully it's some river spots. Start looking for my camp. It's getting past 5. I think I want to call it quits about 5 to 6. No later than 6. And then completely rest up for a hard day tomorrow, possibly. There's a trail down here. What? I don't know. Here's the animal. That's a long way down there. This looks like cruising. Hopefully it stays this way a while. Thinking this is a spot. It's flat down there. Let's go check it out. More storage in there. Swap what we put together here. Little cabin. Well, I'm probably end up taking this spot, but I want to go take a quick walk down the river, see if there's something better. It'll work, but I don't like seeing a power cord and all that stuff. It's not a normal kind of backpacking spot. Alright, I took a quick little walk down the trail just to see if there's any more camp spots nearby. I'm assuming there's probably one at the creek crossing, but I think I'm going to call it a day. And then tomorrow I'll hike like 6 miles, hopefully. Get past Armstrong Meadow. Or Chamberlain Meadows, I'm sorry. We'll find out. But pretty cool view. North Fork of the Clearwater River. Alright. Well, this will do for tonight. Got a flat area, got a campfire ring. It'll work out.
Before every hike, I try to preview the hike by looking on YouTube and finding a reference video. A couple years ago, Mountain Wanderer hiked this hike. He does really good videos. And I believe this is the same camp he camped at the first night on his hike.
Very important. Some water. Look it up.
coming. Pick it up a bit till the bubbles stop happening. Now we're good. Now it should just be. Officially a tent. It is kind of nice to have a table to use. We don't have that in normal backcountry campsites. Every time on the first, bring a frozen bottle of Gatorade on every hike. Keeps my beers cold, and then this stays frozen. Sometimes it doesn't even unfreeze till the next morning. We have ice cold Gatorade waiting, plus to keep stuff cold, like this sandwich. So I'm not going to have to cook tonight. Just eat this sandwich about the gas station at Superior. Call it good. Drink a couple beers and maybe have a little fire and call it a night. Here.
There was an old cable crossing with a old basket connected to it still. I have no idea how old it was. I tried to get close to it to check it out. Here's the advantage of having this table here. Get my contact out a lot easier. when I walked back to camp after looking at the river, I had a surprise visitor, a beautiful buck, just hanging out.
So I peed as far away from camp as I possibly could, because apparently that's all the deer wants, is my pee, and he likes it a lot. So you don't want deer or other animals in your camp, pee as far away from your camp as you can. Here. All right, it's day 2. It's 8 o'clock. It's fairly cold out, and everything is wet from the dew, which surprised me a little bit that it'd be that dewy, being that warm out. But just got my coffee going. Most important thing, coffee. And slowly pack up here, let my tent dry off, and then get on the trail again. See how far I can make it, or want to make it, or we'll figure it out when I get there, I guess. Now hopefully I can get all the way past Chamberlain Meadows into that road and get to the 5 Lakes Butte area. But might just hike as far as I can today and find a spot and day hike to the 5 Lakes Butte area tomorrow. But it's taking it slow here. But excited for the day. Had a deer, that deer that was in camp last night did not leave, and it was walking around, snorting around my tent all night long. And it kind of pissed me off. Even used the air horn on him to get him to get out of here, and he wouldn't. But that's what it is. Beautiful deer. Well, time to move on.
Might be a camp spot down there. Possible camp spot down here with possible animal trail. Oh yeah, of course there is. Idea there'd be a camp here. Take a break and readjust a few things. Right. Well, I took a break at this camp spot at the crossing, which I might use tomorrow night on the way back down. It's a pretty cool spot. But now I'm about to cross the North Fork, and then the trail goes up Vanderbilt Gulch. So here we go. Right after the crossing, there's a sign saying 7.6 miles. Forest Road 715, and that's running along Meadow Creek, and about a mile away from trailhead to Five Lakes Butte. So it looks like it's about 8.6, maybe 9 miles to that trailhead, and then another mile and a half to a lake. So you're looking at 10 miles from here, if it's possible. I'll put my boots back on. Vanderbilt. All right. This is where you leave the North Fork of the Clearwater and start heading up Vanderbilt Gulch and hopefully end up at the end at Chamberlain Meadows where it meets Forest Road 715. It's like some up going on now. This is more great sign that they've cleared the trail all this way so far. So hopefully it's like this the whole way. Thank you. It's like the first obstacle. So they cut that part, so they just didn't want to cut the rest. Wasn't the worst. Man, if they had not have cleared this, it would not have been very easy to get through here. This is pretty badass, because a lot of trails this year are destroyed from the bad storm they had in the middle of winter. They had a quick warm up with a bunch of flooding and then a wind event. Double whammy. Hey, bear. Hey, bear. Hey, bear. Hey, bear. See me, bear? See if he moves around. Hey, bear. Hey, bear. Hey, bear. He was standing right there looking at me right on that corner. Angle of him here. So he was on that corner over here, and it must have either backtracked down the trail that way or ran straight up. I can't tell.
Once I got a good distance away, I got a couple good pictures of the bear. It looked like a pretty healthy bear. Not a big bear, but it wasn't a little bear either.
So that was pretty interesting. That was about the closest I've ever been to a bear on the trail. I've seen him 100 yards down the trail, or scurrying up a mountainside, or across the creek. But that's the first time that I've seen a bear standing in the middle of the trail, probably less than 50 feet away from me, I would guess. It wasn't very far. I could see everything. He had a brown nose, and I could see his eyes. I could see his ears. Yeah, that was cool. And it was really docile. It just walked up into the bushes, and you couldn't even hear it. So that went well. Look at all this cleared area. Logs across this hole. So I ran into the end of the line of the chainsaw cutting, and I'm less than a quarter mile, it looks like, from a big meadow. So I got a little axe and a little saw and cleared as much little branches as I could to make a pathway so that I could get through there with my backpack, because it's really thick and pretty dangerous with your backpack. There's pretty much trees in every direction down. So, but I did find the path. I hope this will work and I don't bust my leg or something. But I get to the meadow, hopefully I can find a camp spot there and then see how much farther I want to go. So, yep, big break time. Let's see if I can get through these blow downs. Might have broken through to get to the meadow, but that was pretty freaking rough. There's more branches I need to cut before I go back there through there. You could almost makeshift something down there. It's flat. Keep this in mind. It appears I'm at the edge of the meadow. And you can see animal tracks through the grass down there. Yeah, it looks like I'm gonna need to put on some bug spray too. All right, at the meadow, but I had to clear more branches so I can get through with my backpack. My progress on this trail has come to like a dead halt. Gone maybe a quarter mile in the last hour plus. I did get to a little set of bridges in the meadow, so the trail starts to actually be on the flat ground, so I'm hoping it'll be better and at least get to the end of the meadow and then possibly find a place to camp. Something's walking out there, a big branch just broke. Yeah, might have to just find a spot here somewhere. Strategize about tomorrow, see if I want a day hike to 5 Lakes Butte, or if I just want to call it quits and go back to that river crossing spot. Bridge in the middle of nowhere. It appears to be, maybe it's optical illusion or something, but a bear print right there. There's a creek. There's a flat spot just back here that I could use as a camp. This trail going around the meadow is definitely an old roadbed. It's pretty obvious. Pretty massive. Well, guessing that's bear poop. There's a little building. Hey, a trail marker. 373. Must be at the junction. So where a old road goes up to meet Road 715. And then there's supposed to be a manway, partial trail. Keep going up the Gulch to Chamberlain Meadows. This must be the creek. Water. Stuff for stock. Seriously, throws power cords around fucking outfitters. Don't understand. Weird. Well, took a break here, and I don't like this spot. I'm not camping here. Just reminds me of last night with the outfitters camp. I don't like all their crap. This is just a rundown
old campus somehow, or somewhat. It's got like 4 foundations, and then one building standing. That, yeah, there's not much going on here besides junk. So I'm gonna hike down to the junction. I already scouted it out, where the road goes to the top, and this trail, I think it's called 379, keeps going down to Gulch. And I'm hoping maybe I'll just find a place on the trail, side of the trail, a flat spot next to the creek. Maybe it's better than this shithole. Let me show you. That's funny. It's got a lock on it. The hell would they need a lock for? Maybe some outfitters still use it.
Started noticing a lot more animal tracks along this road, and a lot more scat with various animals.
Unknown road there. This is the junction. There's the road. Old road. There's a gate at top of it. But it goes like, I can't remember, 3 point something miles this way and 3.1 this way. This one on the map is red, meaning it's just a throughway with partial trail, and figure it out yourself. This one's an old road, but already looks like it's got a lot of debris on it, and it's more elevation gain. So walk down this a little bit, see what there is. 373, that's it. I always say the wrong number. Trail 373. See when it gets close to the creek if there's something. That'd be huge. It's actually not too bad of a trail so far. There's some fall down or flow down, but so far, I'm sure that's gonna change soon. Somebody put some little red tape markers. I've been noticing them, but I didn't. Now it's like 4 or 5 of them, so I'm thinking this is actually gonna work. Get more and more positive. Decision making time. This might be the end of the road. I'm gonna go see what's on the other side of the creek. If there's a flat spot, I might just call it good today. About 2 miles from the road here.
It appeared that there was no trail on the other side of the creek and no spot to really pitch a tent. At this point, I was weighing my options, including hiking straight up the stream, which I didn't feel like slipping and falling and getting soaking wet. So I tried to look around this boulder field, see if there's a highway around it, and didn't look very safe. But I ended up finding a low route that almost looked like a trail.
I started following a trail below the boulders and ended up getting past Fall Creek and then following a trail up Fall Creek, who knows where. Fail. Well, made the decision to turn around and just look for a decent flat spot somewhere back. Hopefully not at that cabin. I don't want to sleep at that cabin tonight. I don't like that spot. But someplace with flat ground. Maybe in the road down there closer to the creek. I don't know. This sucks. Thought it was on to something and just disappeared, and there's no place for me to have my tent anywhere here. It's all uneven or too much grass. It'll be all super dewy in the morning, and I don't know. Sucks, but it's the right call. It'll all work out. Grouse. Here I am back at the trail junction. Failed, but find something here. Wish there's a road. I could always just pitch up on that.
The more I thought about it, I didn't want to camp on the road because it's like an animal highway. I didn't want to be in the way of them.
For all this, I think I'm just gonna go back to that cabin spot. It sucks, but there's a fire ring and there's firewood already there. It won't be great. But what do you do? Decided to take the cabin spot. Not ideal. It's kind of, I don't know, ugly with the outfitters buildings or whatever they are. But it'll work tonight, and there's a fire ring and be able to rest up. It was a brutal day. Brutal day. Very disappointed I didn't make it all the way to Five Lakes Butte Trailhead, but it is what it is. Happy to be here in the woods again, another night. But just kind of a weird spot. Beautiful area though, when away from this. Creek is beautiful, especially coming up Vanderbilt Gulch. The creek down below is awesome, and it's even cool over here if you can get to it. There's a couple spots down trail where you can look at it, but it's a cool creek. I wish there was more camp spots along it, but it obviously doesn't get used very much.
Most likely only in hunting season, if that. But yeah, should be a cozy night. Hoping to see the stars, but there is a little haze, and there's a fire burning not far away, probably 15-20 miles that direction on the North Fork in the Black Canyon area on Moose Mountain. But maybe we'll hear some wolves or something tonight, something cool. That bear today was badass, and it was a good bear, and he saw me before I saw him or her. But yeah, scooted away up the trail, above the trail, and I just scooted past it, and it was awesome. That's the way it should work. This is the meadow just next to where I'm camping. It's an enormous meadow, but it's super thick brush that's hard to get through. All right, day 3, just slowly waking up. Gonna dry out my tent, decide what I want to do, if I'm gonna hike all the way out or if I want to take that spot that's just before the crossing of the North Fork and then spend one more night. Just kind of see how this morning goes and how I feel. It's coffee time. The ultimate. Oatmeal and coffee. Coffee the most important. So good. Alright. Packed up. Leaving camp. Spot worked. I don't like it. It's not the best spot, but it worked for the night. The babbling little creek helped. But I think I'm just gonna call this trip quits. I didn't get the 5 Lakes Butte, which was my goal, but I did get pretty far in there. Kind of want to spend another night in the river, but I already did that. But pretty sure that I'm heading back to the trailhead. Things could change, who knows, but right now I just want to get past that blowdown section at the end of this big meadow. There's like a 1/4 mile section that's pretty crappy.
This little section, the road disappears and it goes around the bottom part of these set of trees. And I remember looking back when I came through because it got confusing here. I walked a couple different ways till I found it, but it is a pretty cool big meadow. I should have spent more time exploring out there. There might be a hidden camp spot somewhere out here in these trees. It's gotta be. With all the hunting in this area, there's gotta be something out in these trees. Couple random bridges. Here's the end of a long set of fall down that took me over an hour to hike a quarter mile yesterday, and I spent like half hour just cutting branches off the trees and cutting the little branches off so I could get through with my backpack on, which came in handy, but it kind of sucked. But I'm glad I did it, because going back now, you don't have to fight branches. Got all these cut, so now it's a lot easier. Well, I'm almost out of the blow down, hell down. It's right over here where that big broken tree is the end of the line. And then it's just coasting. But I gotta get there first. This is it! No more crawling over trees. Tend to my hand, I guess I cut it going over that. Thank God they cleared this stuff. Like I said on the way up, it would have been pretty much impassable. This is the area I saw the bear yesterday. I'm sure the snags are from the Great Burn 1910 fire. That's why this whole area is called the Great Burn. And I love it. definitely what you would call cliffy here. It is straight down. Right, switch back and down to the north fork of the Clearwater and cross it, and then 5 miles back to the road. See if this is the actual viewpoint here. Fine. Oh, wow. There's a trail all the way down the spine. All right. Down to the north fork of the Clearwater. Actually, can't wait for my feet to get in some cold water to make them feel better. North Fork. Road 250, 5 miles. We'll take a good last break right here at this camp spot. I was thinking about staying tonight, but I'm ready to go home. Alright, took my last break. This camp spot by the crossing of the North Fork, 5 miles in from the road. So 5 miles out, here we go. here's the trail down to the outfitters camp that I stayed at the first night. So probably less than 4 miles to the road now. A good section of uphill here. Then I think it's majority downhill after crest this little point. One last little hard section, or not hard, but uphill. Right to the crest of this little point. Point right there. Way above the North Fork. There's even a trail going down, but I don't know what you would go down to, because it's straight down. Hopefully, cruising now. Looks like I'm exposed though in the sun. Crazy steep here. It's that point right over here. Well, I was wrong about it being a bunch of downhill. There's been a couple sections of just moderate uphill for a little while. Pissing me off. I'm ready to cruise. There's the road going up to Road 715 to get to Five Lakes Butte Trailhead. I guess that's the way to do it. There's the bridge to get across the 715 and Cedars Campground. Just like a few people there. Camp spot right there. One last little push uphill, I guess. Still there.
Good trail. Need more camp spots. That's a good sign. Made it back to the truck, and there was deer in the truck. Impressions of the hike. Somewhat disappointed that I didn't reach my goal to get to 5 Lakes Butte, but it was an adventure. And 5-mile section of the North Fork of the Clearwater is a cool trail. Really pretty river. And then that section going up the Gulch there, that was cool. You're way above it and steep, and you get to that prairie and that giant meadow. The down thing is the camping. There's only one decent camp spot besides the 2 outfitter type spots. There's an outfitter spot that I camped at first, and it wasn't very cool. It's just run down and it wasn't very nice. And then I had to settle for that one with the cabin in the meadow, and it wasn't that good either. There wasn't any other spots. There was the one spot at the crossing at 5 miles, and you cross the North Fork. That's a good camp spot. It's not very big. It would have been perfect for me. And then going up to try to find the connection to get to Chamberlain Meadows and then Forest Road 715. I got close. I think I was within a mile and a half, maybe a little more, but I was on to something. The trail that I was following was not on any maps I have, so it's definitely a way through, or you're gonna have to do route finding to figure this out without trails. Disappointed, didn't like the camp spots, but loved the adventure, loved hiking a second trail I've never had. It was awesome.
On my way back home, since I was in the area, I was doing some recon on a trailhead for a future hike to make sure there's road access to it still.
I think it must be it, right? That must be it. Let's do this. Well, there's a parking spot. This is Freeze Out Pass.